Here, and I got a little short video. I'm going to go and kind of talk about some of the grading process, the amount of cards and stuff that are produced kind of across the sphere of Pokemon, whether it be Korean, Japanese, English, whatever it may be. But I just don't know that there's a lot of facts that are out there or a lot of people thinking about stuff. And there's a new video that came out from Anon TCG. This is a good video. Okay. He talks about this concept, the number of packs that are being opened, because he takes the number of chase cards versus the number of packs it takes to get to that chase card and the amount of chase cards that are actually being graded. Now, his assumption, though, is as you can see on here, it's 10% of the cards are being graded. That's a pretty high number. I don't think it's 10% of the cards being graded. So if you look at it, where if there's a billion cards, which Pokemon will do close to 13 billion cards this year, if there's a billion cards being graded and that's 10%, then you're looking at 100 million cards. So if there's 13 billion of them, then you're looking at 1.3 billion graded cards, and that's not even close. PSA doesn't even grade over barely over 10 million cards. Okay. So for TCG, sports cards is different, but this is a really good thing. And Anon, I know, says in this video, he's like, I'm sure everybody's going to copy this and do that stuff. This is nothing new. Everybody's thought about doing something like this. I would love to be able to figure out how many packs are being ripped every night on Drip, whatnot, live streams here on just YouTube. I mean, the amount of packs that are being ripped is probably astronomical. I mean, we're talking, gosh, I would say it's probably 100,000 a week. Okay. And so when you look at that, you're probably thinking like 100,000, that seems like a big number. It's really not that big of a number, because if you have 100,000 a week and you do a 10-week period, of course, there's over 50 weeks in the year, then you're only looking at just, I mean, you're just brushing. Okay. At it. If there's, there's 100,000 a week being opened, and in 10 weeks, then that's only going to be a million packs. That's not even close. So we could be looking at rip and shippers doing as much as over a million packs per week, probably over 100,000 per day. And so is the rip and shipping doing a lot of this that's making kind of the downward effect of the product being tough to get? It doesn't help. It makes it pretty tough to get. But I can tell you the product is out there to get. I've been to restock after restock the last 3 weeks. I've gotten whatever product I want. Okay. Prismatic, can't find it. MJ GT Collectibles, they haven't really released that stuff, I guess. Target, they're still getting it. Alliance is putting it out there. But for the most part, what Anon's doing here, and it's going to be interesting to see how this goes in another month, to track this, because it's a good way to track it, taking the packs per card type deal, the packs ripped, and then the box equivalent is what you're doing. And so, like, when you look at the 151 data on there, you're looking at over 109 million packs ripped of that, which is crazy, because that puts it at I mean, that's going to put it at a billion cards just of 151. So these numbers, I think there could be some facts about them, but I think they're skewed a little bit because the raw data is just not out there yet. Now, the other thing that kind of coincides with this a little bit to try to help out with a little bit of the data is eBay. eBay now, okay, if you've gotten this, so eBay is releasing pricing for PSA grading integration. Okay. Now, what eBay is going to do is they're going to start it off. It's going to be at the baseline, though, the value plus the $39.99 per card, and they'll go all the way to the premium of the 10. That means that your bulk value will not be graded on there. And if you're doing sports cards or any autographs, they have to be pack pulled. They will not do autographs that are aftermarket or after the fact. They won't do it. Okay. Now, the reason they're doing this is it's going to try to get a little bit of the process going with eBay and PSA, just like with GameStop and PSA. We've heard all the stuff about GameStop and PSA. It hasn't really worked out as well as some people would want. But the company reiterates any card that doesn't pass eBay's AG check will return to the seller and a bottle will be refunded. Okay. Now, eBay also clarifies that no grades are guaranteed once cards or they pass the authentication check. Now, What that means is I think eBay is going to have a standard. They're going to say like, hey, this won't pass as a 10, so therefore they won't send it in for grading unless you give them the go ahead. But they're not guaranteeing a 10, of course. Now, to go back to a non TCG, what you have there is in 2024, 20 million cards were graded across the four major graders. Okay. So you got your PSA, SGC, Beckett, and CGC. I'd assume, yeah, CGC's in there. Okay. Um, that's up 16% from 2023. That's 17 million cards. Okay. So if there's 13 billion Pokemon cards being done, and they're looking at their results saying, estimated 10% is being graded. I believe they're looking at the 10% just of those chase cards are probably being graded. Not of all the cards, of course, being graded. But if you start looking at it with the chase cards and things like that, you're going to start getting numbers that are much lower, I think. Okay. Because if you have however many Charizard EXs from 151 out of versus how many 151 cards are made, it's going to be a super low population for it because the pull rates are tough for it. So I think the data he's doing is going to be great. I really can't wait to see what happens the next month or two. But I thought this gem rate data right here that they're coming out with 11.4 million sports cards up 25%, 8.6 TCG cards up 6%. I mean, that's not just with PSA though. That's across all the major platforms. That's crazy to me. So like I really thought it would actually be more than that. But then when I take a look at like my PSA slabs, so I got some slabs here and I just got some back from grading to, or I'll get them back next week. I just got the grades today. The new standards are brutal. Okay. I had 144 card submission. 40 of those cards were vintage. I knew they were going to be sixes and sevens. But about 100 of those cards, I thought they should have been probably 10 candidates for not at least half of them. I received right around 11 to 12% tens. Okay. Brutal. The new centering standard on them, it's much more difficult. So if you have old tens and you resubmit them, I guarantee they're probably not going to get tens now because it's much more difficult. But like on this one, for instance, right here, this one is numbered to, this is 300,000. Okay. So that's where the grading's at right now. And PSA has been around for, well over 20 years. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. So I think PSA going with eBay and stuff, I think it can definitely help, but it's just kind of crazy. So, and like according to Gem Rate, PSA by far the most top grader in 2024 with 15 million graded. CGC grade more than 2.3 million cards in 2024 with SGC and Beckett grade 1.87 and 657,000 respectively. So that's kind of what I got there. Again, check this video out if you get a chance. With the non-TCG, the guy has some great stuff. Like, subscribe, and sub to him. He's always a pleasure to listen to his videos. And if you get a chance, guys, check us out. We got a lot of videos updating all the time and uploading. We just did a restock one where we hit the Legendary Warriors boxes at Walmart. So that's what I got for today, guys. Check us out on YouTube. And remember, catch them all.